Hello guys, hello, good evening, and welcome to our live chat for today, our live class. I said live chat. Welcome to our live chat for today. Yes, so thank you so much. So I'm just going to wait for people to join the stream. I need somebody to please confirm. Let me know that you can hear me and that you can see me. So once I get a confirmation, I am starting immediately. Okay, so I just need somebody. Good evening. If you are just coming, you are just joining, you are welcome. You're welcome. Okay, thank you so much. Annie's design. Okay, thank you so much. Mazuba, you're welcome. Shapa, you're welcome. Fadi, you're welcome. I'm fine, I'm good. Okay guys, so thank you so much for tuning in to our live stream for today. So today, like I said, I'm going to be showing you people how to cut a short pant. So the beauty of this tutorial that we're about to do today is that you can actually adapt it into a trouser. You understand? So it's the same process. You understand? So once you learn it, you can use it to sew a trouser, you can use it to sew a palazzo. Gold, you're welcome. Celestine Gold. Radiant, you're welcome. Radiant Design, thank you so much. You understand? So that is the beauty of today's tutorial. So once you learn it, it's the same process. It's just that one is short, one is long, one is wide, but everything around all here like this, all of them, everything around all this, they are the same. Okay, so that is what we are going to be doing today. It is a simple process, so I'm not making use of a pattern. So let's just use our free hand to like mark it out. Is a very simple process. Okay, so let's get started. So the first thing, I have my fabric here, so I'm going to be making use of my fabric. So I have two pieces of fabric, so I'm going to make it really detailed, so you will be able to do this tutorial by yourself. That you'll be able to sew a knicker, as we normally call it here. We call it knicker, but Oyibo they call it pants. So they call it pants, yeah. So, but in Nigeria, we always like, oh yeah, short knicker, short knicker. I think the British people, they call it knicker also. Yeah, they call it knickers, yeah. So, I think that's where we actually adapted it from. But Americans, they call it pants. So that's what we are going to learn how to do today. It is a simple process and it is going to be an exciting time here. Okay, so please let me know where you're watching me from. If you are just joining, let me know where you're watching me from. Okay, yes, I would really want that to know. Okay, thank you, Mabel. Thank you so much. You're welcome. All right, so I have my fabric here. So the first thing we are going to do, let's learn how to take our measurements. Okay, yes, so this same measurement process, you will use it for your trouser, you use it for your palazzo. Okay, yes. So the first measurement that we want to take when you are cutting a pants, a trouser, a knicker, is your crouch measurement. That's this part like this, you understand? So you need it, and it's a simple process. So sometimes I really don't know why that thing is giving people so much headache. There's no big deal with it. So once you master the act, it is a simple thing. I I don't know, as in, I don't know how to say it, as in I've never really made a pants or a trouser and had problem with this. There was the day I saw one woman, she was walking, everything was just like geez, it was like, so there's nothing like that. Okay, Oko Sumbo, you're welcome. You're watching from Lagos, thank you so much. Okay, so the first thing, two ways of measuring your crouch measurement. This part like this is your crouch. The simple way, because all of these measurements, when you try all of them together, that's when you check them, it will fall at the same range. So that's how you will know that you are right. So the first one for you to learn to measure your crouch measurement, but this one at times, this one can be embarrassing for if you are measuring somebody, you understand? But the way to do it like this, you can actually do this So it depends on where you are putting your, like you can see this short that I'm wearing now, because what I'm putting on is a short. You can see it is above my tummy. Can you see? It's excuse me, it's covering my belly button. You understand? So if it is a high waist, because you see what the top I'm putting on is a cropped top. Can you see? It's a cropped top. So you see it's covering my tummy. So if you want to do a high waist trouser for somebody or a high waist pants, this is how you will measure. You understand? You can see the back. This is where the waist is starting from for the back, and then this is where it is ending at the front. You understand? So you need this. You put it, don't like slack it or something. So you can see what we have now. This is 28. You understand? So this 28 now, let's watch. Oh, we've gotten 28. So the next measurement that you want to, another way for you to learn how to measure your crouch measurement. So this 28 now, obvious, when you are placing it here, you are not going to place it 28, you are going to divide it into 2. So that will be your crotch depth will now be 14. Do you understand? So I'll show you guys how to achieve it here. So for instance now, okay, we want to use our hip measurement. That's another thing that we can use again to do this. So my hip measurement is 42. So if I want to, so okay, let me divide 42 now. So 42, this is 42. I'll divide 42 into 4. If I want to divide 42 into 4, you understand? I'm going to have about 10.5. So this 10.5 now, because this 10.5 now is for a normal trouser. Do you understand? It's for a normal trouser. But if I want to add, since it is a high waist, you guys saw the way I measured it. If it is a high waist, I'll need about 3 inches to 3.5 inches. Do you get? I need about 3 inches to 3.5 inches. That's, you know, this is my waist measurement. But if my trouser, normally my trouser is supposed to be here, but if it is a high waist, I need like an extra. For instance, if I'm going to sew a trouser for somebody now, the person is not around, and then I know that, okay, I did not measure the person like this. I am using the person's waist measurement. That's the person's hip measurement. I'm dividing it into 4. And the person say I want a high waist. Me by myself, I know that person's measurement, I'm going to add as much as 3 inches, you understand, to 3.5 inches to that crouch measurement. That's the crouch measurement. I'm going to add it. So that is why you see we have 10.5. So if we say, okay, let's add that 3 inches to it, 1, 2, 3. At the end of the day, we're going to have 14 inches. That's if I'm adding 3.5, which is that 3.5. If you measure it, this is where the waist will be. For instance, you see, if you are going to measure it to get this height, can you see? Can you see? You get that same 3.5. So when you add that same 3.5, at the end of the day, the measurement, the crotch depth is still going to be that 14. You understand? So this is a very simple way. So you don't need to start racking your head over anything for you to learn. So these 2 methods is what I've been using, and it works perfectly, as in perfectly well. Okay, so that's what we are going to be using today. So for today, our crotch depth is going to be 14. So the next thing that we need to know how to do is how to place the measurements. Okay, so in order for us to know how to place the measurement, so I have my 2 fabric here. That's, I have like the front and the back, but let me just keep the back on the side. Let's work on the front. Okay, so for the front measurement, when we want to place all of these measurements, so like I said, if you are just joining us, you're welcome. Please let me know where you're watching me from. If you don't understand anything, you can ask a question, because this is a live stream. Okay, so this part now is going to be my starting line, which is like the waistline. Okay, so the next thing now, we want to add our measurement. So the measurement that we're going to be adding, the lines, we're going to put our hip line, our crotch line. So remember, you are going to add a band to your trouser. So it depends on how many inches band you are going to be using. So for instance, let's say, okay, let's use like 2.5 inches band. So if you are using like 2.5 inches band, this is how you are going to place your fabric. Okay, let's use 3 inches. I always like big bands, especially if it is a high waist. So let's use like 3 inches so you can see. So when you place it like this now, you are going to mark your hip line. So most times our hip line is, which is like standard, is usually 9 inches, sorry. So our hip line is usually 9 inches. So this 9 inches, you are going to place it here, because that's where you are going to place your hip measurement. And then you remember the crotch line that we marked just now, we said it was 14. So you will mark your 14, because this is a short, so that is why you see it is like this. So you have marked those two lines now, okay? So after marking these two lines like this on your trouser, the next thing we're going to mark, we're going to start marking. So we're marking from this way to this way. It is a simple process. So you guys should please like this video. If you are just joining us, you're welcome. Please like the video. I want for you to like the video, okay? I'm just checking my trouser. So you should like the video. So we're going to start measuring. So you can see the way I folded my fabric. So I'm using, because it is a short, it's not tight, it's not a tight short. So if I'm using my hip measurement, divide by 4. So 1 2 3 4 5, I added like an extra of 5 inches. But if you are using a pattern, you don't really need to look for how to fold your fabric, okay? So now what I'm going to do now, I'm going to come to this side. So I'm going to start marking from this side. So the essence of marking from this side, so I'm just going to come in by 1 inch. So this 1 inch like this is to enable me, like, just, you know, when we're marking skirts, just to get like a shape. So once I come in by that 1 inch at the edge of my fabric. So like I said, this same pattern goes for a trouser, a full long trouser, and a palazzo. Use the same pattern. So this is our hip line. So from that point, I'm just going to connect this now to come to my hip line, you see. So this is like, I'm like giving shape to my trouser, okay? So once I mark it now, so the next thing, from this pattern, I'll be marking like this to this side. You know, normally we normally mark like this when we're marking our top, our whatever, but for pants you mark this way. So the next thing we're going to do now, on this waistline, so this is our waistline, I'm going to add my waist measurement, okay? So for the waist measurement that I'm going to be making use of, I'm going to be making use of 36, which is 9 inches. So I'll mark my 9 inches here like this, and then I'm going to add 1 inch sewing allowance. So the essence of adding my 1 inch allowance, if you want to add that at this point, add your dart intake into your pants, into your pattern, you understand? So add that, and then I'll mark it, and then I'll come to this point. Now this is my hip line, just like I explained. So that hip line, you can see the way I'm folding my fabric. I'm going to mark that my hip measurement, that hip measurement of 42, which is 10, 42, is it 10.5, or is 11, sef? God help me. 42, that's 21, it's 10.5. Mathematics. So I'll place it here like this, and then I'll mark it. So because this is a pant, is a knicker, a pant, I need ease. It's not meant to be tight, except you want to do a tight one, a fitted one. So since I don't want a fitted one, so from this point I'm just going to mark how many inches do I want to add to my knicker at this point. So you add the inches you want. So for this, let's see, we're adding half, 1 2, like 2.5 inches, okay? So the next thing I am going to do now, I'll come to this crotch line. So at this crotch line now, at this crotch line, that's where we're going to add our lap measurement. This crotch line is very, very important. So you guys saw the way I measured it. It's very important. If you miss it, that is what causes the whole problem here for your trouser, that the thing will pack inside and the person will be walking like what, I don't know. So please just follow the way I explained it. You'll be able to do good. Okay. Okpeluwa, he said, please, how many fold is your fabric? It's just 2. I just folded it into 2. This is the front piece. It's folded into 2 for the front piece. Okay. So when we're done with this front piece, we'll use it to cut the back. It's just 2 folds like this. Just fold your fabric into 2. Okay. Yes, thank you so much. So let's continue. So this point now, this crotch line, that's where we're going to place our lap measurement. So when it comes to your lap measurement, you understand, you can measure your lap however you want to measure. It depends on how tight, depends on the kind of trouser you are sewing. If you are making a fitted trouser, at this point, make sure you mark, you what do you call it, you take the measurement and then maybe just add a little bit of ease to it. But if you want a trouser that is open, so use your measurement, okay? So at this point, I want my short. I don't want it to be really um I don't really want my short to be too tight, okay? So I really don't want it to be too tight. So I'm going to use like 20. Okay, let me see. Let me measure it again. So at this point, like I said, measure your, so let's use like 20, 26 thereabout. So that 26 now, you divide that into two. If you are not going to divide it into four, you divide it into two. So I'm going to place it here now. I'll mark 13. So this is going to be the width of my pants. That's of the width, and then I'll just add a little bit of allowance to it. So at the end, at this point now, so let's add that to our pants. Let's add that. So I'll add just 1 inch that to it, okay? So that you people will see how it is done to make it easy. So at this point now, I want to connect these lines together like this. So I will use my curve. I'm just trying to place it like this, but the best way is like this. Can you see? I'll place it like this. So you need to navigate that curve, navigate it properly, so you don't have any problem at the end of the day, okay? So can you see how it is? So the next thing I want to do now, at this point now, I want to come down. So it depends on what I want, you understand? See, this is my mark, so note. So at this point now, I'll come in at this down part of my trouser. I can decide to just come in by 2 inches. So that 2 inches, I'll just mark it like this, so you can see the way it is. So if it is a long trouser now, this mark will just come down straight to the down, okay? And then this one at this side of my trouser, since I'm using 13 inches, so I'm going to check it. So this is my 13 inches. I'll mark it again. This is my 13 inches, and then I'll just add that normal allowance that I added. So from this point now, this is what I'm going to do. So this part, you just shape it like a skirt. You people know the way we used to shape our skirt. Can you see? Just mark it. So after coming like this and measuring this part, make sure you measure it back again towards this side for you, so you're not just going to cut, because you need to give this side a shape. So just imagine if this was a trouser, you can see the way it is coming. To just go and go down like that. So you still need to check it, so double check your measurement at that down part, okay, to make sure that it is okay. So at this point now, I want to cut this. And then I'm going to cut this like this. Can you see? It's a simple. So now I'm going to use this now to cut out the back, okay? All right, thank you. Sharper, you're welcome. No, the 13 inches is from your thigh. I measure 26 inches. That is my thigh. Depends on how wide I want my thigh to be. That's my trouser to be around my lap side area. So when I measured, I got 26 inches. So I divided it into two. So that's how I got the 13 inches. Okay, I hope that is clear. So now we want to mark our our back piece. So I'll place this like this on my fabric again. So at this point now, once I place this like this, everything I'm doing at this point is going to align with this point. Do you understand? It will align with that waist point. So at that point, at this point now, I'm going to come out with 1.5 inches. Most time I really don't like using using 2 inches for the back of my knicker, my trouser, my pants. I like using 1.5, except if the person is a plus size. Okay, so at this point now, so you can see what I did. I came out by 1.5 inches here, and then at this point I'm just going to measure that 1.5 inches, and then as I'll just keep going until it aligns, it terminates at that point. So that's how easy this is. Okay, can you see? So just come out. So if you want to use 2 inches, if it's somebody that is plus size, somebody that has body, you understand, you use 2 inches, come out by 2 inches. But you understand, come out by 2 inches, and then just mark it. You saw the way I marked it, you see it. And then once you get to this waist point, it will come together like this. So if I'm making what do you call it, if I'm making like a fitted trouser, if I want to make like a fitted trouser, the back of my trouser, I'll make it a little bit higher than the front. That's like, I'll like place my fabric like this, you understand, make it a little bit higher. But since this is just like a free shot, it's going to be the same. But let me explain it so that you will not get confused. Okay, so I'll just come down a little bit like this, and then at this point it will be like 1 inch higher than the front piece. And then at this point I'm just going to like terminate it at this point. Okay, it will align with this point, and then it goes, this part is a little bit high, that's for the back. But since this is just like a free shot, I really don't need that. Okay, but if I'm cutting a long trouser, I need that, I need to add that to my pattern. Okay, so please note, I've done on my live stream, I've done trouser before, so maybe in another upcoming one we can repeat it. That one is not a problem. So I'll mark here like this, and then I am going to, I'll mark here like this, that I'll cut here like this. Okay, can you see? So we are done. So at the end of this the day, we're going to add our dart. So this is if we're adding dart to back and front. For there are some patterns you really don't need to add that to your front. So you can say I've just folded both of them into two, and then I'll just put like a notch here. So that will serve to help to serve for my dart. So if we want to add pockets to this piece now, so let me see. Sharper, thank you so much, you're welcome. Let's add pockets to this trouser. So let me make it easy for us. So I'll keep the front part, I'll keep the back part, and then we're going to work on the front. So I'm trying to get my fabric, my remaining fabric. Okay, so for my let me just cut out the fabric that I will use for as my pockets. So it is better, let's just do it. So I'm not using any measurements yet. I'm just trying to cut out the piece first. So after cutting out the piece, I will that fabric is a little bit small, but since it is a short, I really don't need a pocket that is too deep. So let me see if I can use this. Okay, this thing I'm doing is very risky. At times you can just cut off what you are doing. Okay, so you can see what I'm doing now. I'm just trying to get two fabrics together. So when I'm done, I'll show you guys the dimension that I'm using. So let's just get the fabric laid out straight first before we continue. So this, I want to use this for the pockets. So now for our pocket, we're going to use this for the pocket. So in order for us to get our pocket, what we will do, you're just going to come in. So it depends on how, when it comes to this pocket, depends on how much opening you want on it, you understand? So that is what will determine how much inside you will come. So you can come in by 2 inches if you want a pocket that will be obvious, but if you want those ones that are hidden, you can just do 1 inch. Okay, so let's do like 1.5 inch, like this. Okay, so the next thing, this I'm going to just terminate it here at my hip line. Okay, can you see what I'm doing? I just made a curve. You see, at this point now it's like 2 inches, but from the top point is 1.5 inches, while around this middle part is like 2 inches. Okay, and then I stopped it. I just came down a little bit below my hip line, and then I am going to cut this off. Okay, so now I've cut my pocket. So the next thing now, I have my fabric here that I'm going to use for my pocket. So I'm going to take this. So most times I usually don't cut my pockets like this. I usually don't cut it out. I don't do that. I will just leave it like this. It is easier. So what I will do, I'll just cut out 4 pieces like this. And then the next thing, I'll just create my curve at this down part like this. So I'll just place this like this, and then create a curve at this down part like this. Just create a curve. So you guys, you will see how it will be now. So when we start stitching, so I'm still trying to trim it. So at the end of the day, my fabric is like 8 inches by 8.5. Okay, so now we're going to start stitching. So let's work on the front piece first. Let's work on the pockets, and then before we join the back to it. So when it comes to the band, so for this, I'm just going to use a straight band for this. So you can remember I used like about 3 inches for my band, so you can see. So I've already cut it out, so I'm using a straight one. So we really don't need to cut and join so much. So now we're going to start stitching. So let me readjust my camera so that you guys can see what I am going to be doing. Okay, so like I said, if you are just joining us, you're welcome. Okay, so you're welcome. Let me know where you're watching me from. Please, you people should like this video. So now we're going to stitch our pockets. The managing of this fabric. Let me recut this pocket. Let me get another bigger fabric. The management of this fabric will not make it easy. Let me make it an easier way. Let's see. Let me make it easier. So I'm not using this one again. So let me, because the way I did it now, what I cut out is going to be difficult as a beginner. If you want to follow that pattern, it will be difficult. So let me cut out a more easier way for you guys. Okay, so you can see. So this is like an easier way of cutting a pocket. So you can see my fabric. I'm folding my fabric into 4. Can you see? I folded it into 4, and I'm not cutting it. That's, I'm not opening it. You know, this one of just now, it was opened. So if you people do it that way, it will be difficult as a beginner. You might have difficulty sewing it. Okay, So we're still going to use the same, almost like the same measurements, everything that we're doing. So let's see. We're still going to use almost like the same measurement, okay? It's just that this one, I'm not going to open it. Okay, so now you can see what I have here. So let me give you guys the measurements. So you see what we have. We have 10 inches now by 9. So it is, this is much, excuse me, this will be much more easier, okay? So now we can see this one is folded into 2. It's not cut. So now let's start stitching, okay? Yes. So now I'm going to take one part of my trouser, and then I'm going to take this. I'm going to take this like this. You guys should please watch this part. When it comes to sewing on pockets, is really is a very it's really confusing. You understand? So there's a way. Even me is here that is sewing it. It can confuse me, even me too. So there's actually a way of doing this. So I'll place this like this, and then I'm going to stitch. Can you see? This is the part. Okay, let me stitch it on the side that has the mark. So now I'll trim this part. So like I said, this part you can actually trim it from the beginning, or you can decide not to trim it. So can you see, after stitching it, you can see this long part. So what you are just going to do at the end of the day, you are going to turn this now. That's after stitching it. Now this is the right, this is the, you have stitched it now. You are going to take this now inside like this. That's you push it inside. At this point now, push it inside. So like I said, this can be confusing, but just watch it closely. Can you see? So when I flip it inside, you see what I have. You see how it is looking. So now this part, that was why I said I will cut another one that time. So this one, I'm just going to bring it this way. Can you see? I'll just bring it this way. So when I bring it this way, you can see my pocket is set. See? You see my pocket is set. Can you see? So what I'm just going to do now, at this point now, what I will do is from this inside now, I can decide to curve this part. That was what I did on those first sets, you understand? That is, I can curve this part. So it depends on what I want, you understand, at this point now. So I can curve this part. So the way for me to stitch it, I have 2 ways. If you want to do like a neat finishing, you stitch it from inside. But if you don't want to do like a neat finishing, that you want to use like an overlock, you can just hold it straight in order not to confuse you if you are going to weave your cloth after sewing. You understand? You can just weave it down and just navigate that curve like this. Okay? So I'll show you guys the 2 methods. So just navigate your curve like this. Can you see? So at this point now, you can see my pocket is laying neatly, well flat out. Can you see? See my pocket? Can you see? You can see my pocket. See my hand inside my pocket. So at this point now, you want to hold this part down. You understand? So here's what you will do. You take this like this, and then you secure that part. So I'm going to use the second one. I'll still explain how to fix this pocket, so it does not get really confusing. It can be confusing, but just once you master it, you will never forget it again. So you can see, so I've secured the edge down. That's the side of my trouser. So at this point, you really don't need to trim anything though, but I just want you guys. And then this up part, now you secure your trouser. Sorry, I keep calling it trouser. Yes, maybe I'm not, because I'm always used to sewing trouser. So I've secured the top point, the top part down. Okay, so for your dart, you might want to add your dart before you do this. So I think it is better, let's add our dart. It is better for me to add, let me just add my dart to my piece first before I sew it to the pocket, before I secure it down. Okay, so like I said, this is a live class. If there's anything you don't understand, Chidera, thank you, you're welcome. Drop it on the comment section. Can you see how beautiful this looks? So at this point now, I want to stitch the top part. That's the upper part of my knicker or my pants. I just want to secure it down, and then I'll show you guys. You people will see it. Okay, so after securing it down, this is what we have. Can you see? See how beautiful this looks? You see? So that's for that. So you see the inside. So this one, like I said, if you don't want to, for this one, at the end of the day, now you just weave it. It will look okay. Okay. So now let's stitch the other part of our trouser, of our knicker, trouser, whatever. So I'm holding this side now. So this side is going to stay like this. So you have to be very careful at this point, because you don't want to turn everything upside down. Okay, so at this point now, I'm going to now take this one. Now I'll place it like this. I'll stitch it on this right side also. Okay, you can see I'm placing it, I'm stitching it on the right side, because this right side, when I finish stitching this, no, it's going to be like this. So you see, it's going to be like this, because when I'm done, I'll flip it inside. Okay, because you need to take a good look at it, so you can see. So now I'm stitching it at the right side. Whatever you are doing, when you are stitching it down, stitch it at the right side, because you need to stitch it at the right side. That's the front side, and then you flip it in. So if you sew it inside, you will not be able to flip it in. Okay, so let's see, let's watch, let's see if we got it. So now stitch this one now. So now I'm going to cut this open like this. So that was what I was telling you, because you can cut. So now after cutting it open, I'm going to take it inside. Okay, you say how much is my online class? It depends on the class that you want to register for. So most of my classes are 5,000. The trouser class is 4,000. Yes. So I have a new class that is coming up this month. That's like a cupped corset class. So So I folded it inside, and then after folding it inside like this will come back outside like this. Can you see? So once it comes out, you just see that your pocket is done, as in, so just like this you can see. So once it comes back, your pocket is done, and then it's so done easily, so you can see. So now what we are going to do now for this one, now we're going to stitch it from the inside. I want to show you. I told you I will show you for 2 ways. So now when you want to do that, you need to mark it so you don't get confused. So now when you mark it like that, you are going to flip it like this. So most of these things that I'm saying, you need to, it will be doing your eyes. I don't know the right term to use. It will be doing your eyes somehow, but you need to take a good look at it. As in, when you look at it like 2 times, you understand what I'm saying. It will look as if, as in, what I'm saying now will be looking so strange and abstract to you, but it's not that. Once you master it. So now I'll flip it back. So I'm going to show you both. So I've stitched this one down. So this one now, you can see, you'll see the difference between the two. So after flipping it down, the next thing now, I'm going to secure the side just like we did with the first one. Okay, so I'll secure the sides. I'll secure the sides like that. I have plenty of thread here. I don't have thread. Okay, so now I'll just trim this so that it will be on that same line. So after trimming, I'll add my dart before I stitch down the top. So for the dart, so I'll just add my dart. So for the dart, is optional. There are some patterns you can decide not to put dart in front. There are some you just put your dart at the back alone. So it depends on the style you want to give your trouser or your knicker or your palazzo. Okay, so most times my trousers, I don't like putting that in front. There are some I used to even do internal dart. I don't like those external dart, so I'll cut the dart in the pattern and then now make it like dartless, so it will not show. Okay, so now I'm securing the top part. That's after stitching. So like I said, if you have questions, please drop your questions on the comment section. Okay, I will do well to respond to you as I'm online now. So I'll show you guys now the difference. So this is like the difficult part of it. So you see the inside of this one, you see the pocket inside, see this front. Can you see how beautiful? Then see the second one we did, everything is the same. It's beautiful, but you see the inside, I just stitched it. So this one you can hem it. Okay, that's use what do you call it, overlock. Okay, when is the corset class coming up? Okay, the corset class will come up on the 25th. On the 25th of this month, that's when I will start it. The other classes are starting tomorrow, but the corset class will start on the 25th. So I'll post the updates tomorrow on my pages, so you can see. So after everything, you are going to place, you can see, you place them together like this, back and front. Let me see, my lighting is not okay. So you place them together like this, and then we're going to sew this part, the crotch line. So you just join it together like that. Okay, no, sorry, that's not where you will stitch here, not here. Okay, so now it depends on how many inches allowance you added. You know I added like 1 inch allowance, so I am going to almost take that out now from this piece. So I'll mark it. I'll just like So I'll mark it like that. Okay, this is for my front piece. So can you guys see how beautiful our shirt is? You see how neat it is looking already. See our pockets, see the front. So now after that, you are going to take the back piece also. So for that back piece also, let's add our dart to the back piece first, and then I'm going to secure the dart down just like I did now. And then I'll secure the second dart for my back piece. So when you are doing this, when you're working with a plain fabric, you have to be very careful, okay? Make sure you place them together when stitching, or else you stitch to the same side. And when you do that, that's that's another work. So for the dart, the length that I use for my dart, I actually did not mention that. I'm sorry. So the length that I use for my dart is about 4 inches. That's the depth. It's about 4 inches, okay? So now after doing the back dart, I'm going to place back together, and then I'll stitch it along this line also, okay? Okay, so I'll place it like this. So I've finished stitching, I've stitched it. The next thing I'm going to do, okay, Joy, thank you. Okay, you're asking how much is the class. I'm still reviewing the price. Anastasia, thank you. You're welcome. I'm still reviewing the price. Okay, so now at this point now we want to join back and front together. So I'm just loving this shot. You can see how beautiful she is looking. And then this is our back piece. Can you guys see how beautiful? So the next thing now, you're going to take both of them together like this, and then you place them together like this, okay? Can you see? Back and front together. Simple, easy. So at this point, you notice that the waist part, you are going to make sure, that was why when we were cutting, you notice that the waist part was the same, but the only part that was not the same is the down part, okay? So you know. So now the next thing you are going to do now, you want to measure, you want to mark your full body measurement. That's your full waist measurement, whatever at this point, if you added extra allowance to it, okay? So at this point now, I'm just going to take like this, and then I'll mark it here, I'll mark it here for my waist. So for this you need your waist. For the other part you really don't need it because it is not a fitted, it's not a fitted short, okay? So I'm placing them like this, and then I am going to stitch. So you can see what I'm stitching. I'm stitching down like this. I'm stitching it down, okay? The classes that are tomorrow, all my online classes, I'm starting them tomorrow. The old corset class, the, what do you call it, intermediate class, my ready to wear class, beginners class, all of them are starting tomorrow. But the new corset class, at the end of the day, I'll show you guys the dress. At the end of the day, that one is starting on the 20th because it's a new class. So I'm going to stitch this side down. So can you see I'm just navigating my hip area, everything. I'm just making sure that everything is coming together so nicely and neatly and easily, okay? So at this point now, every excess that I have, I'll just trim that off like that. Okay, I'll trim it off. So now we are left with this center part. Can you see? It's a simple process. So this center part, now what you do, you know both of them are not the same, so you pull them together. Just pull it together like this, and then you stitch it down. So if it is a trouser, if it is a palazzo, at this point you pull them together. They are not the same, you understand? So you use your own hand, like use your hand to like pull them together. You see, pull it together, bring it together, you understand? And then you hold them, and then you stitch them together like this. Okay, so after stitching like this, you are going to see we have a really beautiful short, and then we are going to open. So we are going to open this up like this. So at this point now, you will notice I closed my knicker, I closed everywhere. So at this point now, you are going to determine, okay, where do you want to put your zip? You understand? Where do you want to put your zip for your trouser? Do you want to put your zip at the back or the side? Because if it is the front, we will do a zipper fly. And I actually did not plan for the front because I did not do a zipper fly. So my trouser, that's my zipper, is going to be at the back definitely. If I want it to be at the side, all I'm going to do is just open here and use the side. It is a simple process. I can use the side, I can use the back. Okay, so now after this, I'm going to open this because I want to stitch my, see how beautiful our short. You see the pocket. So I'm going to iron it when I'm done. I'll iron it down. So I'm just trying to place it so that I can iron it. So at this point now, our front waist, we need to deepen our front waist a little bit. So in order for us to deepen that front waist, we are going to sew it. You can know the way we used to deepen our skirts. You understand? So it depends on how deep you want to come. You can know the way we used to deepen our skirts. There's some things that can really be annoying. Really, 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 really annoying. So why am I doing this? Is because I want to trim it off. Okay, that's for my front waist. So after trimming, you can see now the back is higher than the front. Okay, so this will help to relax the waist area. So the next thing now, we want to add our band. So like I said, I'm using just a simple band. So there are different ways of cutting band, but this one is like the lazy man kind of band. You just cut your fabric straight and then you can iron whatever. But normally your band is not supposed to be straight. As in this one, like I said, if you want a band that will really fit very well, it's not going to be straight. You have to, there's a way you have to cut it. As in this part, you have to slope it in. But this also works fine for a beginner. Just cut your band straight. After that, you can now improve on doing the slanted band. Okay, so now we're going to do this simple one tonight. So here's what I'm going to do. So from the inside, I'm going to stitch from the inside like this. So I'm just going to place it like this. So from the inside, I'm stitching from the inside outside. Okay. I mistakenly stitched my pocket to one side. Okay, so I'm stitching the first part of my band to my trouser or my knicker or my palazzo. So like I said, all of the processes, all of them are the same, follow the same method, and then you get it perfectly well. People can hear the sound of my machine. It's a little bit high. It's because there is no light. There's always no light in the evening. So I'll just cut like the excess that I have there. I'm just going to cut these up. And then, so like I said, this is like a lazy man's kind of waistband. But this waistband saved my life for a long time as a beginner. Okay, yeah. Saved my life for a long time as a beginner. That's what I was using and kept using and continued using until, so I'll just turn this like this, and then I'm going to secure that part down like this until I now learned how to do the other one. So when it comes to sewing, you don't need to get yourself worked up. You cannot learn everything in one day. You cannot even learn everything in 1 year. You cannot even learn everything forever, because even we that are here, we are still learning. Okay, so this one now, I'll just tuck this in like this, and then I'll start securing it down. Okay, so I'm just using my hand. I'm just like folding it in. So at this point, if you are using a stretchy fabric for this, more good luck, because at this point you are going to sweat more. There are some fabrics that are, as beginners, there were some things that I learned them the hard way. There are some fabrics that as a beginner, don't even attempt them. Do you understand? Don't attempt them. Just leave those fabrics alone, and as a beginner, work mainly with cotton fabric that are stable, like Ankara. Yes, work with such fabrics and you'll be having it nicely. But if you decide to use other chiffon, excuse me, so at this point now I'm just stitching it down. Okay, yes, I'm just stitching the waist down. I'm folding my band. I don't want to use so much fast speed. Okay. So at this point now, I want to put on my pressing iron so that I can press this trouser. Is it trouser? I keep calling it trouser. Like, jeez. I can press I can press this. Okay. When it comes to folding the center of my trouser, let me turn off my pressing iron before I drain my inverter. So at this point, I just want to trim. I want to trim the down of my shirt. Can you guys see? Can you see? Can you guys see? This is what we made tonight. Can you see our shorts? You see our pockets? So nice. And so if you want your pocket to be deeper, if you know I use 10, you can make it deeper than this. So can you see? So at the end of the day, this back now, you can now put your zip at the back, and then you are going to have this. So I'm just trying to hide that part. But see my shorts. Can you put see? Can you see? This is how simple and easy it is to make a knicker, to make a short, to make a trouser, to make a palazzo. So today I really explained it for you guys. So guys, so thank you so much, all of you that tuned in into our class for today. So let me show you guys the corset, the new corset class I was talking about. So you can see, can you see this beauty? This is what we are going to be learning in our new corset class. So I even added the modesty panel. Can you see? It looks so beautiful and it's so fine. Everything was well done. You can see, so it's a cupped corset. It's all of our bones. You can see the back. So this is what we are going to be learning. You can see our cups are deep enough. This is what we are going to be learning in our new class. So this class is going to start on the 20th, like I said. Yes, it's going to be starting on the 20th. Did I say 20th or 25th? So none of those bits. I'll post it on my community. So thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. I'll see you tomorrow, unfailingly, by God's grace. But tomorrow class, we're going to start early, maybe like 6:30. I'm going to be showing you guys how to cut flay. So that's what we'll do tomorrow, okay? All right, see you guys. You can drop your questions, okay, on the comment section. Bye bye. We have taken so much time today's class. It was really detailed. Good night, everyone.